letting us know Drake Maye had a hand in hiring Chip Lindsay, who's the offensive coordinator for the Carolina Tar Heels. The more and more I hear from Mack Brown and everyone at Carolina, which we heard a lot of over the past few days at ACC kickoff.
We did.
The more and more I realize it is a 1-year window for the Tar Heels. Everything is built around Drake Maye. And Drake Maye, unless something actually goes fairly poor, right, something goes badly, he's on campus for 1 more year.
Yeah.
It would be as surprising as when Peyton Manning or Andrew Luck went back for their senior years. If he were to do that, and I don't expect that to happen. Mack Brown was quoted actually by ESPN at ACC kickoff days saying that he wants a flawless offense for Drake Maye. That, to me, just the wording right there shows how much they're building for Drake Maye, right? Not around, not with. They are building for. He was involved in choosing the next offensive coordinator in Chip Lindsay. Think about how outlandish that is. A player with limited eligibility and a pro career that's likely starting after the next season is hiring the offensive coordinator who will not just likely be there for 1 year, right? Will likely be there for a bunch more years, hopefully. They brought in Clyde Christensen as a volunteer offensive assistant. We heard Drake Maye raving about that move because Christensen had coached Tom Brady and Peyton Manning and Andrew Luck and so many of these guys who he wants to one day be in the position they're in. They built the offense around this guy. Even with Josh Downs and a few other players out of the offense from a season ago, they replaced it in a way that is very Drake Maye-centric. Here's Mack Brown at ACC kickoff talking about replacing key players on the offense.
As far as losing, you lose Antoine Green, you lose Josh Downs, you lose some powerful players, but then you bring in, you've got some good players that because both of them were hurt some, neither one played in the bowl game, and we had good players step up, and you can, whether it's J.J. Jones or Gavin Blackwell or Kobe Paysur, or you can talk about those guys that stepped up last year at different times, but we also bring in Nate McCullum and we bring in Tez Walker. And Nate was very successful in this league at Georgia Tech. He's got great speed, he's tough, he can run it as well as throw it, so he can make yards after catch. So he's got some similarities to Josh that we lost.
Tez Walker and Nate McCullum brought in as transfers. Tez Walker from Kent State.
Yep.
Nate McCullum, as you just heard from Georgia Tech. Both of those guys were singled out by Eddie Royal, ACC Network analyst, former Virginia Tech player, when we had him on the show yesterday. Right? I said, hey, you're a wide receiver. Who do you like in the ACC? Tez Walker was the first name he mentioned. Nate McCullum, I believe, was the third. Those guys were brought in as transfers, upperclassmen. This was all built for Drake Maye. Drake Maye is going to be there 1 more season. Now, maybe they had to do it this way, right? That's one option.
Yeah.
Is if Drake Maye wanted to put his name in the portal, and by the way, Drake multiple times at kickoffs, at ACC kickoff, did say those were all rumors. I was never really considering it. I'm this is my dream school. I'm not going to leave. But that doesn't mean that North Carolina didn't operate with the fear of him going into the transfer portal.
Sure.
He would not be the first player to look at his coach and say, I want to be here. I don't want to leave. And then a couple days later, put his name in the portal. Like, it does happen. Just like coaches a lot of times say, I want to be here. I'm here for the long haul. Oh, I'm sorry. What blue blood wants me? See ya. Like we've seen that also.
How much are they offering?
Yeah, exactly. How funny would it be if like those marks of confidence did come with qualifiers?
Yeah.
Like, right, Mike Elko had to do a lot of it at ACC kickoff, a lot of, I want to be here, I'm here, I want to be here.
Sure.
Imagine if he did put like a qualifier on it. I want to be here, unless they go to $10 million. Like, I want to be here. That is except this very specific situation happened. I don't think that would elicit the same rah-rah atmosphere that what Elko did is eliciting right now in Durham. But to go back to how they're building it, maybe every team from now on in college football When you have a player that is a top pro prospect at quarterback and they still have years of eligibility before they're allowed to turn pro, you just have to build absolutely everything around them for fear of them going into the transfer portal. If you have a new coach, you have to bring them in the decision-making room, right? You have to say, hey, do you want to talk to the OC before we hire him? Hey, what are you looking for in an OC? You have to say, well, we have some young wide receivers. They're unproven, but we think they're going to be good. No, that's not good enough for you. All right, we'll go get some proven ones in the transfer portal.
Yeah.
Maybe you have to do that just to feel comfortable that your quarterback's not going anywhere.
And if you're Carolina in this situation, if not now, when?
That's the other side.
Yeah.
Maybe they did just look around and go, let's put all of our chips in the middle.
Yeah. Go all in.
That's the other option, is they looked around and said, the best chance for us to contend, right, to go win an ACC championship and maybe be in the mix for a college football playoff is this year. And there's no guarantee we're going to have a chance in the near future when Drake Maye moves on. So why would we save anything for the future? That's the other option. And I think that's actually a very interesting option because it is very much like a gamble. It is very much like an all-in move at the poker table because if it doesn't go well, you're kind of out of luck, right? Because then you have a offensive coordinator that was handpicked by a player who's no longer on your roster. You have young players that weren't given the reps to get better and improve because you gave them to these transfers that were brought in to help your quarterback, and the momentum around your program comes to a screeching halt, right? That's going busto. However, if you win on the all-in bet, you can really start something cranking, right? Because then you have you could be the big chip stack at the table. If I'm a quarterback in the portal next year, and you just churned out Sam Howell, who's a starting quarterback in the NFL.
Yeah.
Mitch Trubisky, who, for all of the struggles he's had in the NFL, was a number 2 overall pick, which is appealing to quarterbacks. Mm-hmm. And Drake Maye, who at the moment looks like the worst possible he could be as number 2 in the NFL draft at the moment. A lot could happen. But then if it hits, right, if it goes well, all of these moves work. Drake Maye has a gigantic season, goes on to be a Heisman finalist, goes on to win a bunch of games, maybe the conference, goes on to be number 1 or 2 in the NFL draft. Every other transfer quarterback out there who has a big season at any of most schools is going to look and go, I'll go to UNC.
Yeah.
And then you have a cycle, right? Play well, get the quarterback. Play well, get the quarterback. Play well, get the wide receivers that the quarterback needs. Play well, the offensive coordinator looks like a genius. Play well, everybody. It all happens. Going all in for 1 year does not mean they're ignoring the future. It means they're betting their future on this year.
Yeah.
And that's a fascinating way to go about it, right? Because most coaches think in like 5-10-year plans. Where do we want the program to be? Seems like Mack Brown's going, where do we want the program to be in 5 years? What about this year? Let's just worry about this year. We'll figure out the rest later based on how well or poorly this year goes.